Hello everybody, and welcome back to Nathan Adams Cars. Today we're going to talk about the new Toyota Camry, the 2019 and the 2020. And as a former car salesman, the most important thing I can tell you that you can do when you're going in to buy the car is to do your research. That is something that I found most of my clients who negotiated the best, they did this. So we're going to break it up into 3 different parts. The first part is going to be the review section, where I'm going to show you 3 different reviews with an expert rating for the car. And then the second section is going to be the deals section. So we're going to talk about what kind of deals you might be able to get on this car and kind of average those out as well and just kind of see like what's a good deal. And then number 3 is going to be the finances. We're going to talk about the different methods of financing or paying for the car, whether that's cash or financing with a loan or leasing or whatever it is. So at this segment, I'm gonna have to add some disclaimers before we proceed with this video, because there's a lot of things to note. For one, the most important thing I'm gonna mention is that we're gonna talk about a lot of incentives and things like that. I'm gonna try to tell you about the differences between like a manufacturer incentive and the local dealership, what they're offering. So just keep in mind, the manufacturer changes their incentives every month. So by the time I make this video, those incentives will have probably changed. And along with that, there's also the fact that there might not be any 2019s left very soon. Actually, they're running out very quickly with this car in particular. If you're looking at like a Honda Accord, it's the opposite. They have a lot more 2019s, and it's the end of the year right now in 2019. It's December before Christmas, so I expect the Camrys to sell out very soon for the 2019 model. So just keep an eye out on all those different types of details. These details are subject to change. This is just a guide that I'm giving you as an example, so just keep that in mind. Alright, so for the review section, I found one from US News Cars, and that's a good one because it shows you every year what changed. It shows you that in 2018 the car was fully redesigned, and that marks the start of the 8th generation Camry in the US. So fully redesigned in that time, and then in 2019 Apple CarPlay is now a standard feature, and then in 2020 Android Auto becomes a standard feature. So it's good if you go click around all 3 of those different years and kind of just figure out the history of the car and what might be different if you buy a 2018 versus a 2019 and so on. Also in 2020, the TRD trim is added to the lineup, so that's an additional trim level. So let's go over the 3 reviews. I'm actually using the same reviews for every car that I'm doing. That way we can really compare it apples to apples. Now if you look at Edmunds, the Edmunds review, they rate that car a 7.6 out of 10. So I'm converting it into a percentage so that we can get an average, and that comes out to 76% from Edmunds. And I'm just browsing through it here quickly. A lot of cons, a lot of pros and cons. The pros, they talk about the driving is much improved over the last generation, just the suspension and things like that. Good fuel economy in the new one, but the infotainment system can be subpar. Engine noise is prominent during acceleration, probably for the 4-cylinder especially. And they say that the advanced driver aids can be overly sensitive. So I like to look at a lot of different reviews. In this case, we're doing 3, just see how many of the common complaints or good things about the car that we can discover. That way we kind of know what to look for when we're shopping. Okay, so review number 2 is Car and Driver. They rated it a 4 out of 5. Now if I convert that into a percentage, I know it's not the most precise way because it's only out of 5 stars, or 5 up to 5. And they gave it a 4 out of 5. So that converts to an 80% rating from them. The verdict is that this is the best Camry that there has ever been. So that's pretty impressive. That's what they say, and then they give it an 80%. Alright, so JD Power, they give it an 85 overall score. What I like about JD Power is that they break up into multiple different segments for their scoring. And this car has excellent quality and reliability. Probably, it's one of the best so far that I've seen. I've only done a few different of these videos, and that's the best rating I've seen so far, 88 out of 100. So great quality. My sister just purchased one of these, a 2019, and it is very nice inside, the materials and things like that. It's a good quality interior, and the resale value is also excellent. So the average expert rating for this car is 80.3%. Alright, so the lineup of this car is expansive. There are 12 different trim levels on the 2020. I think on the 2019 there would be 11 because they added that TRD trim for the 2020 model, and that is a V6 option. So what I did was I created a spreadsheet kind of showing, or like a chart, you know, just showing the prices for each car, including the destination charge of $955. They exclude that when they're marketing it on the commercials and all that stuff. So I divided it into 3 different sections. You got the 4 cylinders first, and then you got the hybrids, and then you got the V6s. So it can be kind of confusing to keep up with all these different options. So it's good, you know, you can go to the website, the Toyota website, see their lineup, and there are 12 of them. So hopefully that chart, I'm going to put it up there on the screen. Hopefully that chart is helpful for you. Also check on the description below, because I'm going to have all the links and the details for this guide below for you as well. Also below, I'm going to have Toyota's brochure for this car. The brochure for the Camry is it really shows you a lot of things that you would care about if you're seriously considering buying the car. You know, I'm showing you a lot of research. You're going to average out between multiple sources to try to get some good outside information, which is nice, but the brochure is also offering some excellent information, so check out the description. You'll find that there as well. All right, recapping the review section, some of the general findings that I found: excellent quality, great resale value, and it's much improved performance from the starting on 2018. 2017, they say after it was redesigned in the 2018 and up, they have much improved driving performance and feel and all that stuff. The infotainment system can be awkward. The smartphone interfaces are not available on every year, so just keep that in mind. And they also say that the inline 4-cylinder engine can be a bit noisy and slow, so that's another thing to consider. All right, now we're going to move on to the deals section. So this car has a lot of different incentives available. It's pretty interesting because, like I said, there's a lot of 2020s out already, and I think they're going to start doing year-end sales on those. So they have some incentives to help promote those sales, and the 2019s are kind of running out. So it's like you can get pretty much the same deal on both car, except there's an incentive for retail cash. The difference between the incentive for each model year, the 2019 is $2,000 that they're offering. And again, check, you know, you got to check these every month. I'm going to have all the links in the description below. You can check the incentives there. From 2019, you got a $2,000 retail cashback offer, right? For 2020, you have $1,250. So it's a difference of $750. That's pretty much the difference you're going to find on the deals. The big difference is going to be, though, that there's more 2020s available as of now. So keep in mind, take a look at your local inventory and see what is available, because that's really going to determine the deal that you get. But these incentives are pretty great. So the 2019 and the 2020, they both have differences for their financing rate specials as well. I think that special cashback you can get whether you finance with them or not, with Toyota Financial Services. But in order to get the 1.9% special for the 2019 up to 72 months, that's pretty great. In order to get that, though, I don't think you can combine that with the retail cash. I'm not 100%. Of course, you got to check with your dealer, because that's what they say. It's up to the dealer how that works. But from the manufacturer, they're offering these 2 different types of incentives. So 1.9 up to 72 months is available on the 2019 Camry. And on the 2020, you can get 2.9% up to 72 months. There are other lease specials available for the Camry. I'm not really talking much about leasing on these cars, because I think that the resale value is excellent. When you're leasing a car, you're really paying for the depreciation. You're paying for the use of the car, kind of like a rental for that 2 or 3 years or whatever it is, right? So for a car that doesn't depreciate much at all and it retains its value a lot, I would rather pay for the car and get a loan to own the car, so that if I need to sell out of it in 2 or 3 years, hopefully it'll still have retained enough value that that risk is worth taking, as opposed to paying more for a lease. I think leases are better suited for the like luxury cars or things like that. They work better, in my opinion, that way. It's up to you, but there are some lease incentives as well. All of these incentives can be found on Edmunds.com incentives page. Again, the link for that is in the description. And it's helpful because it's a third party there. Of course, you can also check the Toyota website, because they have it there as well. They're going to show you all the different incentives available from the manufacturer. The key point here is that when you're looking at these national incentives, they are being offered from the manufacturer. So the dealership is a separate entity. They're individual franchises. They can make their own promotions. They can, you know, utilize these incentives in their own ways. But just be aware of what's being offered from the manufacturer, so that you can, when you go into the dealership, you know what's going on. That's very important. So for this deal section, we're going to take a look at 3 different sources again, and we're going to get an idea of the deals that are being estimated from these different sources. So for this 2019 Camry, I'm looking at the 2019 very basic, just 4-cylinder L base Camry, right? And Kelley Blue Book, at the bottom of the range, it showed me a price of $20,780. That's deal number one. And that's just an estimate. Again, that's based on some incentives that you may or may not qualify for. It also could be like some of the older models with a little more miles on them, or some of the colors that they have a lot of like the same colors and they want to get rid of it. But that's a really good deal from them. Edmunds, they also are offering in the $20,000 range, $20,153 with a $2,000 rebate in there. TrueCar, for some reason, is higher. Usually I find TrueCar to be lower in their estimates, but I think the reasoning is because they know there's not really many left, and it kept trying to push me to do a different trim level. I think that they try to work with the dealers to see what's actually available, because that's more likely what they can sell. If you don't have any basic Camry L 4-cylinders, right, you're not going to be able to sell them. And if you have only one, somebody comes in, like, you're not going to give away all the money on that, right? So TrueCar estimates $21,177. So what I did, I took an average of all of these. The car that we're looking at has an MSRP of $25,050, and the average third-party deal estimate comes out to $20,703. Again, all the links are in the description below. I'm going to say that a million times, but the point is, you might be looking for a different trim level or something else. Feel free to go through those links, select the options that actually apply to you, what you're looking for. Just keep this as like a template, as a guide that you can use when you're going in to buy your Camry. All right, we're down to the last section here. I'm going to talk about the finances. So the finances are completely dependent on a lot of different variables, mostly the price of the car and also like the term of the loan. How long are you going to finance for? For this car, because of the great resale value, I would say it's not too much of a risk to go out for the 72-month loan. And you can do that with the 2019 for a great interest rate. They have that special going on. I'm not sure how it goes, again, if you can use the 1.9 and the $2,000. I don't think you can do that. So go to your dealer, see what they offer. Go to your own bank, see what they offer. But since this car is in like the $22,000 range, I'm thinking that the payments are going to be around the $400 mark for the 4-cylinder starting out. It can go all the way up to like $600, and this is all based on like a 60-month loan. So it really depends again on those options. But I have a great source here that you can check out, Auto Loan Calculator. You can just Google it if you want, or you can go to the one that I have in the description below, bankrate.com. Check it out. You can, plug in what you think your deal is going to be, add your taxes and fees and all of that, and you can kind of get an idea of what your payment's going to be, so that when you go into the dealership, you're negotiating on the price, you got a great price. They don't try to just hit you with a high interest rate and then make all their money back on the back end, right? The goal is not to take all the money from the dealership. The goal is to get the best deal that you can. And by doing your research, knowing what kind of deal you're going to get up front, then you can kind of know what your payment should be with a good interest rate as well, right? So use that Auto Loan Calculator. That's a great source. I have it in the description below. I did an example in Virginia. I added the taxes and fees to the average deal estimate that I was thinking, all right? So like $20,700 is an average excellent deal from all of these sources, and after taxes and fees and everything, comes out to like $22,600 for the L model with an unpopular color. Keep in mind all those different conditions for this type of deal. But financing amount is under $23,000. If you use a special rate of 1.9 for up to 60 months, the payment's going to be right around $395. And if you do the same for 72 months, the payment's going to be right around $332. So one thing to consider here is, well, first of all, there may not be any of these left. And secondly, that this number technically kind of includes that $2,000 incentive from Toyota. So I'm not sure if you can use that special rate. So of course, use the best rate you can qualify for. Try to find the best combination, right, between the use of the incentive, the best deal you can get from the dealership, plus the best interest rate. And sometimes, you can't combine a special interest rate plus an incentive from the manufacturer. So you have to figure that out and just have options. Keep your options open from your own bank, and then when you're ready to make the decision, you pick the best option that's available. So in my estimates, for a great deal on a very basic 4-cylinder model, payments around the $400 range make sense. If you're going up to a V6 with really nice options, it's going to be between $500 and $600 probably. for 60 months. So take a look at the calculator. There's an auto loan calculator in the description as well. Check that out, see how it works for you. But I hope this information has been helpful. All right, so what is the verdict on the new Toyota Camry? Well, Christmas time is coming up. It's almost New Year's 2020. Should I add an S on there? New Year? It's almost New Year 2020. And, you know, it looks like they planned out their inventory pretty well because the 2019s are selling out. I talk a lot about how Toyota is like a great marketing company. They have a lot of clever strategies there with that. And I think they do a lot of these things intentionally. The 2019 Camrys are almost gone. So, you know, you'll get a great deal on whatever's left, but you're not going to have very many choices. So if you go for the 2020, even if you go for a certified pre-owned or 2018, you know, the verdict is that the reviews are very favorable for this redesign, for the 8th generation, which starts in 2018. So keep your options open, and I'm pretty sure you can't go wrong. Just again, keep in mind that the 2018 was fully redesigned. Apple CarPlay came out in 2019, and then Android Auto in 2020, and the TRD Pro Trim came out in 2020. So if you have all those special features and options that you really care about, just make sure you pay attention to what's available on each one. And then you certainly can't go wrong in that case. You'll get the best deal for the right car for you. So I hope you really enjoyed watching this. I hope that it helped you and that you are very prepared now to go into the dealership and get the best deal and have a great experience. If you like this video and you want to see more, please subscribe. If you like the video, please like the video. All right. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.